Present day, story time with Master K.H., Nautlarak, and Zaklela. The sun is shining brightly through the heavy webbing of tree branches and leaves that surround the grove in which Zaklela sits beneath. She's there along with her brother Nautlarak and her father, Master K.H. Master K.H. is sitting on a rock that has a deep groove in the middle of it, mimicking the physicalities of a throne, while he reads from his books telling colorful stories about their ancient ancestors. Nautlarak sits at the base of his father's throne, furiously jotting down notes to include into his next screenplay. Nautlarak is also a great storyteller, but he records his stories through movies instead of books. He creates moving pictures and sounds from his father's magical and timeless stories. Zaklela is 7 and loves her father's stories more than anything. His stories leave her seeing reality in different ways, and sometimes when she goes out on her adventures into the enchanted forest just behind their home, she encounters creatures as described from her father's tales, and sometimes when she listens carefully enough, she hears the forest sing and she becomes one with its consciousness. This particular afternoon in the Story Grove, Master K.H. is telling the story of the magic antelope that protects all the creatures and plants of the forest in an effort to sustain balance and harmony. Nautlarak is fascinated by how this story will translate into film and writes in his notes about a superheroine who is guided by the spirit of the antelope to protect her home, the city of Los Angeles. He becomes so enraptured by his father's story and his own idea of his new screenplay that the rest of the world begins to disappear. Master K.H. reads the story from the large book full of tales that he balances on his knees while he sits in a cross-legged position. As he reads, his tone is melodic and he keeps to a rhythm that lulls him into an altered state of consciousness. Master K.H. has cultivated many stories through his lifetime, and each story is so rich and full of magic that it transforms the reader as they read it. By reading his own stories, he too becomes transformed and doesn't realize when Zaklela leaves. Not many things have the capacity to distract Zaklela from her father's stories, but while Master K.H. is reading his book, Zaklela catches a flash of bright silver from the corner of her eye. When she looks up, she's sure that she sees an antelope at the edge of the forest with a long pair of exquisitely bright silver horns. She finds this interesting enough to pursue, so Zaklela gathers herself and rapidly heads towards the forest to catch the antelope. The antelope waits a minute for Zaklela, then proceeds deeper into the forest. When Zaklela reaches the edge of the forest, the antelope has already advanced onto a large rock about 50 feet from where she is standing. Zaklela hastily runs towards the antelope in an effort to catch it before it runs any further, but to much of her disappointment, by the time she gets within 20 feet of this mysterious antelope, it starts to run off again. Zaklela then hastens her speed even more. This time, as she's running towards the antelope, she notices that her sense of smell becomes stronger, and her sight becomes sharper as she moves deeper into the forest. She realizes for a moment that she does not need to be following the antelope as quickly as she is because she can smell its trail, and so she slows down and enjoys her journey through the lush and fragrant forest. Suddenly, Zaklela becomes startled by a strong putrid smell in the air that makes her nose twitch and her eyebrows furrow. The smell is immediately accompanied by a shrill cry that penetrates through the forest and stops Zaklela dead in her tracks. She feels her heart start pounding. She senses the intense fear of life-threatening danger emanating from another not far from her and forgets all about the antelope to pursue the scent of this other creature. Zaklela trudges through the forest with a newfound sense of purpose and vigor. Her feet seem to be carrying her with a sense of certainty that she cannot seem to intellectualize. Zaklela's senses become exponentially sharper, to the point where her mind is overwhelmed by this new sense of synesthesia. She suddenly forgets where she is. Is she in the forest? Is she sitting in the grove with her father and Nautlarak? Is she daydreaming about her father's story? Everything feels too real to be a dream, she says to herself. In fact, things feel overly vivid. Before she realizes where she is, her feet automatically stop in front of a ledge that overlooks the situation below. A red fox with matted and tangled fur is surrounded by a pack of 4 snarling wolves. The scent of the fox's fear is so strong at this close of a vicinity, Zaklela feels herself slightly swoon. but her intention is set on helping the fox, so she finds herself the strength to overcome her new overwhelming sense of awareness. She hears the voice of the fox, small and shaking.
Please, don't.
The snarling of the wolves become accompanied by the sound of their maniacal cackling. One of the wolves with a slight limp leans into the fox's face with its mouth twisted into a sneer of contempt.
Do you really think that we will let any of you go? You're the reason why mankind has fallen. My brothers and sisters are dying from starvation without the light of the forest. You will pay for what your kin has done, and your remains will serve to remind your kind that their time will also come when we find them.
And with that, as if a cue, all the wolves become ferociously excited, and they all prostrate themselves to attack the little fox. Zaklela feels her body swell up with aggression to help the fox, and she jumps down from the ledge and lets out a cry of passion to let the wolf pack know that the fox is not alone. The wolves are startled and look at Zaklela in bewilderment. Before they regain their sense of ferocity to charge at both the fox and Zaklela, the magic antelope gallantly leaps out as if materializing out of nothing and lands with a thump that thunders through the ground beneath them. She towers above the wolves, holding her head up high with her horns glinting off the rays of sun. The wolves slowly back away with a sense of nonchalant defeat. The wolf with a limp looks coolly over the fox.
You won't be so lucky next time, Persephorus, and neither will your brethren.
The wolves retreat. Zaklela stares at the antelope in amazement, but quickly focuses her attention onto the fox, who is sobbing into its tail.
What happened? Why are the wolves after you?
Persephorus doesn't look up, as he begins to say quietly,
Amyntas, my brethren, Amyntas stole the light of the forest.
What is the light of the forest?
It is life. It is what makes the trees and the plants grow. It is what feeds all the creatures of the forest and allows us to live in harmony with one another. And now that Amyntas has taken it for himself, the forest is slowly dying. Animals of all kind are losing their loved ones. Without the light of the forest, some of our friends have suddenly died. The wolves are suffering the most. We do not know why, but the wolves are losing their family by the dozen, faster than any of the other animals. They've become angry, vengeful. Their leader Rajan has vowed to seek out to find Amyntas to return the light of the forest, and in the meanwhile, he has ordered that the fox brethren must be punished. The wolves have become mad. Other animals are beginning to fall into the insanity as well, as they are becoming scared for their own family and their own kind.
Zaklela feels her heart sink as Persephorus tells his story about the hate that has been growing in the forest. She thinks to herself that she knows this forest, and she knows the peace that it brings to her family, to her father's stories, and lastly to herself. Zaklela has hope that peace and harmony can be readily restored to the forest, and she has faith that she can help. Zaklela offers Persephorus to walk with him home. Persephorus gladly accepts. The antelope, who does not say a word, gestures towards Zaklela in a manner which seems simply to imply, "Go on and lead the way." Now Zaklela walks down through the forest, experiencing different levels of enchantment she never had seemed to see before. Firstly, her new companions truly bring on a new awareness to Zaklela. Here she is helping her new friend Persephorus walk home after a truly traumatic experience with the wolves, and standing just a few feet away from herself is the legendary magic antelope from her father's stories who lured her into the forest in the first place. Something inside Zaklela told her that the magic antelope knew that what just had transpired was surely to happen. She knew that the magic antelope had more in mind for Zaklela. What also intrigued Zaklela through this particular journey into the forest was that she could literally see all the plants breathe different shades of colors. She could see how alive they were, and she could see that every plant and animal that she came across animated with a different vibration. As she took a breath, so would everything else around her. She felt her own body pulsate with the same rhythmic dynamic to which the rest of the forest seemed to be responding. She truly felt at one here and knew deep in her heart that she could truly help heal the balance of the forest. Zaklela, Persephorus, and the magic antelope come to a stop in front of a fallen, hollow tree with a diameter of about 2 feet. Zaklela feels slightly alarmed. She knows that the right way to Persephorus' home is through the tree hollow, but surely the only body who would be able to pass would be that of Persephorus. Zaklela hesitates.
Come on, no need to worry. Look, we'll pass right through,
said Persephorus right before he goes ahead and scurries down the tree hollow. Zeclala takes a breath and remembers not to worry and dives into the tree hollow. To her surprise, she fits right in, running upright, just moments behind Persephorus. When she reaches the other side of the tree hollow, she is stunned to find a very lushly packed density of trees that creates a circular dome that spans about a few hundred feet each way. There are burrows all up and down and around this dome with foxes scurrying in and out of them. She sees many foxes carrying loved ones up to a basin of water that they have created with densely packed leaves and dirt. Many of the foxes are sick, some of them so much so that they can barely open their mouths to drink water. Persephorus gives Zeclala a nudge.
Many of us have become sick with shame and despair about Amyntas taking the light of the forest. Many have lost hope about the future of the Fox clan. However, many of us refuse to believe that our brother Amyntas would have taken the light of the forest for himself. We believe that there have been some sort of mistake and that our brother Amyntas has been wrongly accused. Many of us still dream of brighter days and that the spirit of our clan must continue to live through hope and joy. This is the only way to heal, and maybe one day our brother Amyntas can heal.
And surely, as Amyntas says this, Zeclala can hear the hope and pride that still resonates profoundly through the Fox clan. There is a group of foxes gathered around some little fox children. 2 foxes are sitting down, each playing an instrument. One fox, who seems significantly older than the rest of the group with his thin body and gray face, is playing a skin drum that he holds with one paw and plays with the other. His face gleams at the children with wisdom and an understanding of the profundity of the beats he is producing. The fox, who sits directly to the left of the drummer, holds in her hand what seems to be a harp-like instrument that is strung together with sinew and twigs. She plays her instrument with a ferocity that makes it seem impossible to see her fingers move. Her head sways back and forth with the beat of the drum, and her hair seems to stand erect from the energy that she emits from her playing. Another 2 foxes are dancing in conversation with one another, embodying a story that is being told by another fox who is singing. The storyteller fox stands in the center of the other performers, with her feet deeply rooted into the ground beneath her and her head lifted up towards the horizon. She sings with richness in her voice that seems to be coming out from the ground beneath her feet. Zeclala can feel the song pull her consciousness into the performance. Zeclala smiles and wiggles her toes to the music. All the children, including Zeclala, are entranced by the performance. They are so absorbed by the music and the dance that for a moment they forget about Amyntas, the wolves, and the light of the forest. Perhaps it's because Zeclala has never been entertained by a group of foxes before, but she's sure she's never experienced a performance as deeply moving and entrancing as this. She knows that she's not the only one who feels this way. She peers onto the faces of the fox children, and their expressions also reveal a deep sense of awe and transformation. This is the part of the forest that Zeclala knows and loves, one that completely envelops and transforms reality into an alteration of consciousness. It reminds her of her father's stories. Zeclala hadn't realized that Persephorus had left her side, but here he came now, grazing his paws against the forest floor with a solemn look in his face. The group is still performing sounds and dances of hope and joy, but these vibrations aren't accessible to Persephorus, who now looks up at Zeclala with a distant look in his eyes.
My father. He's... My father. I must take him to Naraka.
What's Naraka?
Naraka is a cave, Zeclala. A cave that the forest keeps the affected. We, all the animal clans, bring the affected here.
Zeclala looks bewildered.
Yes, the forest is weak. Without the light of the forest, our world is in disharmony. Some of us have fallen sick, and some of the weaker of us have died. But there are others who have become affected with an illness we cannot understand. We do not know how they become affected, but the signs are clear. First, their eyes start to redden, and eventually their whole eye becomes crimson. Then the reality starts to fall apart, and they go mad.
Zeclala feels her heart break as she gazes onto Persephorus. In the very short period of time that she has become acquainted with Persephorus, she has watched him endure hardships that she's never encountered. She cares deeply about Persephorus and the forest and just wants all the sadness to end.
Naraka is the cave to keep the madness out of the rest of the forest. And now, I must take my father Masaru there.
Then I will come with you.
Persephorus looks up at Zeclala with a slight hint of relief.
Thank you, Zeclala. You are a dear, true friend. Surely there is a light within your heart.